What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Eclectic Beard. So this go around, we got American things Europeans can't understand. Now, I go into all these kind of videos kind of hesitantly, because every time I do something like this, I get all kind of comments talking about, that's BS. We've seen that here, or we've got that here, or something of that nature. And it's like, all right, well, I guess swing bat a batter and a miss. Apparently, maybe they didn't do enough research before they took and made these videos. But take another crack at it. Maybe this one will get it right, or at least most of it right. So, yeah. Y'all let me know in the comments exactly how much of this is maybe true or not. So let's go ahead and get into it.
While the culture of the United States is exported all over the world in films and on TV, it also abides by some laws and practices that many consider unusual. Europeans in particular seem to have a hard time wrapping their heads around some of them. From child beauty pageants to gun laws, let's take a look at some American things that Europeans can't understand.
I'm an American and I don't understand the whole child beauty pageant thing. Kind of weird, if you ask me.
Sick of commercials. If you're a European enjoying a cozy night in on the couch in America, some of the stuff on TV may shock and surprise you. And no, I'm not talking about Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I'm talking about commercials, which arrive so frequently it makes watching TV feel almost unbearable to anyone unaccustomed to it.
Seals leaks instantly. Use it.
See, and this is one of the reasons why the biggest way I consume anything as far as stuff that you watch is on YouTube anymore, because, well, with YouTube Premium, I don't have commercials. Or, not commercials, but ads. Take and watch the reason why football games here, like NFL games, taking last 3.5, 4 hours for a game that should only take an hour. It's all the ad breaks they've got. It's crazy.
Especially pharmaceutical commercials, which usually show grumpy men and women turned into smiling, happy people by the product being sold. These are
I find it funny real quick. I'm just going to rewind this back just a sec.
by that product being.
I'm sorry. She went from being grumpy, she went from the black and white background to now she's all smiley and happy, and she's red right here around her nose down to her lips. Look like somebody did some blow. You do blow, you're going, at least for the first little bit, you're going to be a little bit euphoric. So that might explain it. Of course, a lot of these drugs are just synthetic narcotics.
Sold. These are usually followed by an almost comically long list of potential side effects spoken at double speed, like Ambien ad.
As well as abnormal behaviors such as being more outgoing or aggressive than normal, confusion, agitation, and hallucinations may occur. Don't take it with alcohol, as it may increase these behaviors. Allergic reactions such as shortness of breath, swelling of your tongue or throat may occur, and in rare cases may be fatal.
That's my thing. It's not FDA approved. There's so many things in the market that can't get FDA approval, but FDA approves medications and stuff like that. And the side effects are longer than what the fuck they cure. It's insane.
Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. In patients with depression, worsening of depression, including risk of suicide, may occur.
These types of direct-to-consumer.
And there's all kinds of suicide medications to where that's like the #1 risk after taking the medication is increased risk of suicide. Well, that's kind of defeating the purpose of getting rid of the depression that makes you want to commit suicide in the first place.
Consumer commercials peddle prescription drugs, which is an advertising standard that was rejected by the European Commission back in 2002. The Commission stated that pharmaceutical companies were unable to provide impartial information on their medicines. If that's the case, why is it practiced in America? To put it simply, there's simply never been a federal law passed to outlaw the practice.
No. And there's a reason why there's never been a law to outlaw the practice. Because all them bastards up in Washington, D.C. get kickbacks from the pharmaceuticals, and so do the doctors. There's a reason why we had an opioid epidemic that's turned into a fentanyl and heroin crisis in this country. Why? Because, here, take this OxyContin. Here, take this Percocet. Here, take this hydrocodone or Lortab. Here, take this. It'll help you with pain. But I only got a headache. Oh, it's perfect for it. Fucking 3 years, 10 years down the road, and we're like, oh shit, we got a problem here. And they take and yank the rug out from up under everybody they put on the stuff Well, now they're addicted to it. So guess what? They go looking for something that does just as good for them. Well, what is all that stuff? Synthetic heroin. So they go to heroin. And now with fentanyl being mixed into stuff, we got real issues. But, you know, Purdue taking and pushing this stuff only got a slap on the wrist because of all the deaths when them fuckers shouldn't be in business no fucking more. Maybe that's just me though.
This is in no small part thanks to the fact that direct-to-consumer drugs and their accompanying ads are a huge business. And in America, whether it's right or wrong, the rules tend to follow the money. Europeans might actually need a pill for the headache all those ads give them. May cause drowsiness, loss of limbs, telepathic powers, and a violent hatred of cheese. No place like home. Let's say you're a European who's just moved over to America. You found a house in a nice residential neighborhood, and you're going through your bills. Rent, water, gas, electric, all seems in order. But wait a second. What's a homeowners association fee?
It's a communist association that tells you what the fuck you can and can't do in your own goddamn yard. That's what a homeowners association is. Oh, you want to put a flag out your yard or on your house? Sorry, you can't do that. It makes the neighborhood look tacky. Oh, you need to work on your car? Take it to the garage. Like, not your actual garage. No. Take it to the garage down the road where you got to pay somebody to fix your car whenever, you got it for a project car because you're trying to, fix up a muscle car or something. And I'm not playing about that whatsoever. Oh, that's the wrong type of fence and it's the wrong color and the wrong wood type. You got to tear it down. And this is the shit that goes on in homeowners associations. It's the reason why I don't give a shit. I ain't never going to live somewhere that's got a homeowners association. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to buy something. They'd be like, nope, can't do that. Fuck you. I bought it. I own it. Kiss my ass.
To a native, that's a pretty obvious question. But for Europeans, it's an unwelcome surprise. These fees contributes to the local homeowners association, which is somewhat like a neighborhood watch, but managing funds to be reinvested.
No. HOA is not a neighborhood watch whatsoever. At least not in that way. No. Neighborhood watch is basically it's fucking neighborhood Gestapo. Like, oh, I don't care for what Karen took and did to her. I don't like the fence that they put up. I'm gonna take and tell the HOA it doesn't fit with the rest of the aesthetic of the neighborhood. It's that type of dumb shit. Like, it's mostly white mofos trying to take and protect the image of the neighborhood they bought into. That's what it is.
Into the community. It goes towards things like residential maintenance and common spaces, which keeps residents happy and property values up. With around 24% of all Americans living under a homeowners association, they pay $200 to $300 on average per month in fees to these entities. Now, while some Europeans might struggle with this concept, it was a form of governance that was actually invented by France back in 1804. The condominium law was exported to the US, where it became incredibly popular. So, for any European that wants to complain about homeowner regulations and fees, feel free to blame the French. Vacant vacation days. The USA has one of the largest economies in the world. A tremendous economy, in the president's words. But Europeans looking to get into the American world of work are often shocked when it comes to vacation time. US workers are not entitled to mandatory paid vacation at all. Usually the issue of paid leave is left at the discretion of employers. And yes, that does include national holidays.
Not only is it left at their discretion, like whether or not they actually offer paid vacation days, which normally comes with a attachment of you got to be at the company for a certain amount of time before you get any of that stuff. You can put in and be like, oh, nope, can't take those days. What? I've had that argument a couple of times with one of the employers I had. No, you can't take that time off. We're gonna need you. No. I've been working for 6 months straight. You can kiss my ass. I'm taking those days off. I'm just letting you know. I'm just putting in the proper paperwork to let you know I'm taking the days off. This isn't a debate. This isn't a question. I'm not asking. I'm telling you. Might have got rode up a time or two for that.
According to research from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2017, only 77% of American workers had access to paid vacation. Now, the reason that might leave Europeans slack-jawed is because mandatory paid vacation time in Europe starts at 4 weeks. In fact, America is one of the only Western countries where law doesn't enforce companies to give its employees mandatory paid vacation time. Don't believe me? Take a look at this map breaking down mandatory paid vacation time by country. Only the great countries are known not to give paid time off. It's a working culture that undoubtedly favors employers over employees. Americans might want to think about learning Chinese instead, as employers in China must legally offer 5 days of holiday. Although that is after one continuous year of work. Win some, lose some, I guess. Florida man. If the American states could be looked at as a dysfunctional family, then Florida would be the weird uncle who once ran away with the circus and wrestled a tiger. The Sunshine...
That's an apt description. Very apt description. And I think it's because a lot of folks take and go from colder states to Florida. They've moved there. I think it's the one state in the U.S. to where, how would you take a word? Intranation immigration could be a thing. Because you got people moving from Ohio and New York and every state that doesn't have sunshine and lollipops decide to move there because it's warm 90% of the year, regardless of where you're at in Florida. Like, it rarely ever sees temperatures cold enough to get snow. That's just in the panhandle area. Like, you'll have areas right up in here that get snow, but once you get past about right here, that ain't happening. Like, you might take and get into the 50s. Once you get about right here, you might get down to the 60s. Once you get down this area, like, you're gonna be in the you might have sometimes in the 50s, but it's mostly going to be in the 60s and 70s, even fall, winter. Like, it's pretty freaking nice, to be honest with you, because right here is the Florida Keys, and when I was in the Coast Guard, that was our last port of call every time we went out on patrol. I was stationed up here in Virginia, up towards Virginia Beach area. So we would take and stop here. November, it's 70 degrees, 75 degrees, 80 degrees. We're out on the beach still. So a lot of folks take and move there. A lot of people. So you got a diverse group of folks, and you got a lot of rural area interspersed, put in with, because you got Tampa, you've got like Clearwater, you've got Miami down this way, Daytona Beach, Tallahassee over here, Pensacola, Jacksonville, and those are the big cities. Like, everything else it's rural or small town. So you see some weird crap, and there are some weird people. Maybe more weird people per capita and more weird crap happening per capita in Florida than any other state in the country. Like, Florida's the only place you ever hear of a man taking and holding up a Wendy's or the Wendy's drive-thru with an alligator. And I wish I was joking on that, but I'm not. I'm really not. So yeah, Florida, that was an apt description. The uncle that moved away or went to the circus or joined the circus and wrestled tigers. Like, it's a pretty apt description of Florida compared to the rest of the U.S. It really is.
State is the third most populous state in the USA and receives over 100 million visitors year on year. With so many people living between Miami Beach, Disneyland, and Pensacola, a little crazy is bound to be found on the fringes of society. But what Europeans aren't prepared for are the crazy antics of Floridians that make daily headlines. From Florida man believed that he was half man, half dog in March 2019 to Florida man robs bank, strips naked, then runs down the street throwing stolen money everywhere in July 2017. You can search the internet for almost any day of the year and find a headline announcing Florida man has committed an utterly baffling crime. There doesn't seem to be an equivalent for any European countries, although the UK comes close with some of its questionable journalism topics like
Britain's fattest woman ate fridge and died.
Let me know the funniest local headlines you've ever seen at stories@bmas.com. VAT trouble. In Europe, like most of the world, tax is built into the price of items in-store and online. So what you see on the tag is what you pay. But Europeans visiting an American store might be left doing a double take at their bill when they reach the register. There is no national sales tax or value-added tax in America. Instead, American taxes differ by jurisdiction, of which there are around 7,000. Differences in these local rates, state taxes, or combined state and local taxes means that final prices for the same item can differ from one street to the next. For first-time shoppers in the U.S., this unpleasant surprise is a rite of passage that no one asked for.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've seen a ton in my comments section is the fact that, people that visited here and, going to buy something and then the price is different once it's rung up because of taxes, because taxes there being added in and the whole price being on the tag. Like, that's something that we should be able to take and do. Like, even, I don't care if you're in a different municipality, like, it shouldn't be that hard. Like, oh, okay, so you're in this county and the tax rate, the local sales tax is this, the state sales tax is this. Well, you take and add those two to whatever, there's a price of your items, right? Like, it shouldn't be that hard to take and in a computer take and go in and be like, okay, we're going to take and add both to the price tag. So it might take a while, and that's the only reason why it's probably not done that way. Like, it would make things a whole lot simpler.
Tipping point. A meal at a restaurant can be a real treat, but Europeans visiting America sometimes stress about the tip. Although tipping anywhere up to 20% seems normal to most Americans, there's no such obligation in Europe. Indeed, it's mostly seen as a bonus reward for good service, and in some European countries, it's even considered rude and excessive to leave a tip. The American federal government, however, states that tips can be used to satisfy the difference between the employee's hourly wage and the standard minimum wage.
And oftentimes that's hourly wage that the waiter or waitress is making is around $2.10, $2.30, $2.50, maybe $3 an hour. So, yeah.
This means food servers, valets, and in-house staff in certain states can be working for a federal wage of just $2.13 per hour, which is about €1.96. So if you're a European visitor to the States, get ready to factor in your tip to the overall price of your meal. You might well be contributing to a struggling waiter's rent. Child.
No. There's no you may be. You will be. It's as simple as that. I think it's stupid. Just take and give them a wage like everybody else. Like, take and give them, if you pay your cooks and stuff, like, if you take and pay like your hostess or whatever, like $10, $12 an hour, well, pay the waiter or waitress $10, $12 an hour. That way they're not struggling like that. That makes no sense to me.
Beauty pageants. If you've ever been unfortunate enough to have watched an episode of Toddlers and Tiaras on TLC, I think you might side with the Europeans on the next matter. Child beauty pageants are common across America and usually consist of dolled up little girls being thrust onto a stage to entertain a crowd of screaming moms. It's truly bizarre. But what's equally strange is how the craze got started. Child pageants originated from American Better Baby contests in the early 20th century. Babies would be scored on characteristics like weight, quality of skin, and face shape, supposedly in the name of helping to educate mothers on best practices for healthy babies. But of course, it wasn't just for education purposes. There were also cash rewards and trophies for top-ranking toddlers. This has slowly devolved into the bedazzled tradition of pushing a child on stage in full makeup and styled hair to do a dance routine for prize money.
Should be included in ways that take and give your child a complex early in life. Not only that, if you want to push classism, there's one way to do it. Like, for real, like, there's a lot of folks with money that take and will do pageants, but it's a lot of folks that don't really, that are in that middle tier of America, or even like people that overextend themselves that are poorer that'll do pageants as well. And it's so their child can take and get scholarships that they might not be able to take and otherwise get, or the parents, or so later on when they get to school, their parents might not be able to take and cover the cost of college, but they were doing pageants and they got all the scholarship money from doing those pageants. And that's just, I don't know if it's a symptom or whatever of the breakdown of the systems here in the U.S., but it definitely is not copacetic. Like, I'm not against folks, like, if you want to take and do pageant stuff like that, that's cool. You know, I've always just found it kind of odd. I always have. Me and my wife had arguments about pageants and stuff like that. Like, I've seen pageants that my nieces were in, and it's like, you know, oh, you know, they're all pretty youngins, but now they're the best. Like, that, you know, you're giving kids complexes like way too young doing shit like that.
Although some European countries host similar but smaller events, others like France have gone as far as to ban all such pageants, claiming they're an unhealthy way to treat young girls. If you ask me, their general creepiness alone should be enough to slam the brakes on child beauty pageants. Honey boo boo? No thanks. Size is everything. According to an old saying, everything's bigger in Texas. But if you're a European, you'll probably think that about all of America, right down to its people. It's no secret that America has a little bit of a weight problem. 2/3 of American adults classify as overweight, and it's estimated that almost 40% of adults in the US aged 20 and over are obese. Contrasted to Europe, where a survey carried out in 2014 labeled just 15% of adults obese. That's a king-size difference, with a side of fries. The American tendency to overeat might have something to do with portion sizes in the States. A study comparing portions in Paris and Philadelphia revealed food outlet portions were 25% larger in Philly. And a review of 17 different single-serve foods like yogurt and candy bars found that 14 of them were bigger in Philadelphia. While a one-state to one-country comparison doesn't necessarily represent the whole, Europeans on social media often comment on how much bigger everything seems stateside. Have you noticed this difference in portion sizes?
I don't know. It's probably nationwide. I'm just throwing that out there. It's more than just one state to one country. Like, it's probably the whole country is very much in line with what you'd find in Philadelphia, size-wise, as far as food portions are concerned. Food portions, I don't think would be such a massive problem if maybe people weren't so on electronics and, you know, connected in, and were more active, like used to be the case here in this country. But,
Let me know in the comments below. Bonus points for food puns. Oh, sugar. Living in America can really give you a taste for the sweet life, but your teeth won't thank you for it. Why? Well, some American foods and drinks have been found to contain huge amounts of sugar compared to their European equivalents. Some common bread brands contain up to 6 grams of sugar per serving, 6 times the amount found in European counterparts. But it doesn't end there. Taking a look at Pizza Hut's sugar content reveals most of their stateside pizzas have close to double the amount of sugar per slice as European versions. And in Starbucks, a UK venti white chocolate mocha will contain 62.4 grams of sugar. But in America, that shoots up to 72 grams. I've heard of sweetening the deal, but any Europeans making the trip across the Atlantic might leave suffering from the toothache. Gaps in the market. European standards of building a public restroom involve plenty of privacy, mainly in the form of cubicles with doors that are more door than gap. Seems obvious, but it's a standard that Americans just can't seem to adopt. With ridiculously large...
Yeah, you got gaps like that or like that on each side of the door. It's not very private, to be honest with you.
Large gaps at the top, bottom, and sides, it makes for a truly uncomfortable first visit to an American toilet for unwitting visitors. On their first time, Europeans are left feeling especially susceptible to unwelcome visitors and peeping Toms. Some people even resort to taping up the gap to prevent prying eyes looking in. But as strange as the design seems, there are some theories as to why Americans build their stalls this way. For a start, high floor gaps allow for easier cleaning, and they do make it simpler to pass toilet paper from one cubicle to another. On top of that, the vertical gaps act as a deterrent for anyone thinking of doing anything naughty behind closed doors. But there's always the chance you might accidentally get a real eyeful. Maybe just close your eyes before entering any American restrooms. Triggered. It strikes many Europeans as a bit odd that in America you can pick up your groceries from one aisle of a store and a gun from another. Indeed, you can buy guns.
Walmart. That's where that's the case.
Over the counter in places like Walmart, and ammo can be found in pharmacies. But seeing as guns are still...
What fucking pharmacy are you buying ammo? Are you going to buy ammo from? That's crazy. That's a bit odd. That one's a bit odd. I'm just used to the Walmart ones. So for me, that's like, I can go up there right now if I want to, go buy, a rotisserie chicken, and then, because I want to take and actually go deer hunt or something this season, go buy a shotgun or something like that. So, I mean, it's, for me, that's not exactly all that rare or crazy, but the whole buying ammo and the pharmacy, that one's throwing me for a loop because I've never seen that one. That one is kind of odd. Seems like, I don't know, I guess you could take and get the bullets and the bandages that the bullets will take in, for the hole that the bullets will create. I don't know. I guess it's just feeding the monster, isn't it?
Illegal in many parts of Europe. What is it that Europeans find weird about the gun-loving, rifle-wielding, Second Amendment-touting American citizen? It might have something to do with America's gun-related death rate, seeing as per capita, there were 12 gun-related deaths for every 100,000 people in America in 2017. Very few European countries exceed 3 gun-related deaths per 100,000 people, and none even come close to America's 12 per 100,000. The causes of the problem are fiercely debated, but it might have something to do with how easy it is to buy a gun. Background checks are usually carried out, but a research survey from Harvard in 2015 estimated that a third of American gun owners have purchased a firearm without a background check. In Europe, many countries like Austria and Germany require...
It's funny, I've had people in my comments section taking, I guess they're from America. That's the only thing I can assume. They're from America. Where I've taken and given my opinion on the fact that we need a little bit stricter gun, background checks and stuff like that. As I said, you can take and get guns, same day or within 24, 48, 72 hours and stuff like that. And I've had a couple of people comment talking about, oh no, it takes longer. It takes longer than that here in the U.S. Take and get your gun. No. Somebody on my Facebook said their record time for a background check coming back was 7 minutes and 40 something seconds. So, wrong. That's a problem though. That's a problem. That's an issue. It shouldn't be that quick. Because there's a lot more factors than just whether or not you have a criminal record that should go into account at this day and age.
Require would-be gun owners to go through a rigorous 7-step procedure before owning a gun. High-caliber handguns are outright banned in the UK, and many categories of semi-automatic weapons are illegal to own across Europe. It's simply much harder to legally purchase a gun in Europe than it is in the US, which I'm sure is a trigger point for some.
Alright, so there we have it. American things Europeans can't understand. Okay, that's a little bit better. This is a little bit better of a listen than any of the other things I've seen from other channels. So I have to give them that. This is a little bit better than other ones I've seen, because other ones that I've took and reacted to that's kind of in this vein of focus more on product than it has like cultural things that happen here. So this one, all right. Is there any of those, like, how many of y'all agree with this list? Like, let me know in the comments. That being said, y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves. Peace.